They're not going to write a check. GSA is not going to write a check to the Treasury Department with a notation on it, principal for our debt. They're not going to do that. They've never done that, and they're not going to start now. As a matter of fact, they don't even know how to do that. They wouldn't even know where to begin doing that. So let's keep that in mind. It's only going to get larger as GDP gets smaller. And if GDP is getting larger at the very same time our national debt is getting larger, it's going to be getting larger as a result of inflation. So it becomes, inflation in this case, becomes more smoke. It's more smoke and mirrors, inflation. Because what inflation does, this sounds like I'm just stating the obvious here, I guess I am, but what inflation does is inflates prices of everything. But maybe the not so obvious to people is, do you understand that what we do is we're spending our money on things that impact the GDP? In other words, gross domestic products are things that the population in America are buying, right? So if those things become more expensive, GDP is a bigger number. So it goes from 18 trillion to 19 trillion. And we didn't create one more job. We didn't add one more manufacturing plant. We didn't add one more item that was never in existence that we are now using and selling. It didn't do any of that. All it did was inflate what we're already doing, so the GDP number got bigger. President Carter thought that was a good idea to bring down our debt ratio, debt to GDP. So it's smoke and mirrors because it's doing nothing for the economy. It's just giving us an equation that looks a little bit better than 100. So instead of 104% of debt to GDP, it goes to 98. Well, that's good. That's not so bad. With an end goal of maybe getting it to 80%, which would be very good. But is it really good if it's not real? If it's because of inflation? No, because eventually inflation creates unemployment, means more money going out. It creates more people on government assistance. It creates a sluggish economy. So at the very same time we're inflating things in the GDP, we are decreasing the amount of things that are being purchased. So GDP as a whole, inflation aside, is shrinking. So that now they become, they balance each other. They counter, one counters the other. And we don't have it at all. And we're right back where we started from. I don't know. Maybe I just made that very complicated. But I know this much. There are some people listening that now have a greater understanding of that. Why can't you I'll go on the floor of Congress and explain it to them. I'll be happy to do it. And explain to them that it's not going to work.
Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.